Hello and welcome, my friends. My name is Oles, and this is the English Listening Podcast with Oles. Before we start, let me tell you something important. This podcast is made for you, for learners of English. Maybe you study English in school. Maybe you learn English for work. Or maybe you just enjoy the language and want to understand it better. Here in this podcast, I speak slowly and clearly. I use simple words and short sentences. This way you can listen, relax, and understand. When you listen to me, you train your ears. You hear how English sounds in daily life. You learn new words, but you also learn how to use them. Listening is powerful. You don't need to stop and translate every word. Just listen again and again. Step by step, your brain will understand more. That is why I tell you stories. Stories are easy to follow, and they help you enjoy English. And when you enjoy something, you learn faster. So who am I? I am Oles. I am your guide, your teacher, and your friend on this English journey. I have one simple goal: to help you improve your English by listening. Every episode, I share a new story. Sometimes it is about life, sometimes about travel, sometimes about work. Today, it is about something many of us know very well. The first week in a new job. Think for a moment. Do you remember your first job? Maybe you were nervous. Maybe you wanted to do everything right. Maybe you smiled a lot, even when you did not understand. That is normal, and that is what today's story is about. So, sit back, relax, and listen. This story is long. I will tell it in two parts. In part one, you will hear about the first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. In part two, you will hear about the rest of the week. But remember, the story continues naturally. You will not feel where one part stops and the other begins. Now, let's begin the story. Monday, the first day. It is Monday morning. The alarm clock rings at 6:30. Mark, the young man in our story, opens his eyes. But the truth is, he was already awake. He could not really sleep. He felt too nervous. Today is his very first day in his new job. He takes a deep breath. He says quietly to himself, "Okay, Mark, you can do this. It is just one day, step by step." He goes to the bathroom, washes his face, and looks in the mirror. He sees a young man who wants to be ready. His hair is combed, his eyes are serious. He takes a shower, brushes his teeth, and puts on the new clothes he bought last week. A clean shirt, dark trousers, and shoes that shine. He wants to look professional. Breakfast is simple: coffee and a piece of bread. His stomach feels too tight for more. He looks at the clock again and again. Finally, at 7:30, he takes his bag and leaves the house. The street is quiet. The bus comes, and he sits near the window. Outside, the city wakes up. People walk fast, children go to school, cars stop at the red lights. Mark looks, but his thoughts are busy. What if I don't understand the work? What if people don't like me? Then he closes his eyes for a moment and says again, "Calm down. You will learn. Everyone was new once." At 8:30, he arrives at the office building. It is tall, with many windows and a big glass door. He stands outside for a moment, then walks in. The reception is big, with a desk and green plants. A woman smiles and says, "Good morning. Can I help you?" Mark answers, "Yes, I'm new here. My name is Mark. Today is my first day." The woman checks her list, nods, and makes a call. Soon, a man arrives. It is the manager. He shakes Mark's hand and says, "Welcome, Mark. We are happy to have you." The handshake is strong. The voice is kind. Mark feels better. They walk together through the office. The manager shows him the kitchen, the toilets, the meeting room. Finally, they stop at a desk with a computer. "This will be your place," the manager says. Mark sits down, looks around, and smiles. Yes, this is real. His new life is starting. The morning is busy. He meets many new colleagues. He learns how to use the computer system. He writes many notes. Sometimes he feels lost, but everyone is patient. One colleague, Anna, explains things step by step. She says, "Don't worry. It takes time. We all needed to learn when we started." Her words calm him. At 12, it is lunchtime. People walk to the kitchen. Mark follows them. They sit together at a big table. Mark eats his sandwich. The others ask questions. "Where do you live? What do you like to do? What did you study?" Mark answers, sometimes with short words, sometimes with longer ones. He feels shy, but also welcome. In the afternoon, there is a meeting. Mark sits and listens. There are many numbers, many plans. He does not understand everything, but that is okay. He writes notes and tries to follow the main ideas. At 5, the day is finished. Mark says goodbye, takes the bus, and goes home. He feels tired but also proud. The first day is done. He survived. At the office, he says good morning to his colleagues. This time, the words come easier. He sits at his desk and turns on the computer. Anna comes and helps him again. She explains how to send emails inside the company. She shows him where the files are. Slowly, the system makes more sense. Before lunch, the manager gives him a small task. It is not too hard, checking information in a list. Mark works carefully. He checks again and again because he wants no mistakes. It takes time, but finally he finishes. The manager says, "Good job, Mark." Those 3 words make him feel strong. Lunch is easier, too. He sits with the group and listens to their stories. They laugh about the weekend, about movies, about food. Mark does not talk a lot, but he feels part of the circle now. In the afternoon, he joins a small meeting with Anna and 2 other people. They plan a project. Mark listens, and when Anna asks, "Do you have a question, Mark?" he says, "Not now. I just need more time to understand." Everyone nods. They understand. At 5, he goes home again. This time, he is tired, but not so nervous. He feels he is learning. Yes, this is only the second day, but it already feels like a small victory. It is Wednesday morning. Mark wakes up and stretches. He feels more confident than the first 2 days. He remembers the meetings, the lunch breaks, and the small tasks he did. He feels he can handle more now. After breakfast, he leaves the house and takes the bus. The bus is busy, but he finds a seat. He looks outside and sees children walking to school. Some people are running to catch the bus. He smiles. Life is moving, and he is part of it. At the office, he says, "Good morning" to everyone. They smile back. Today, the manager gives him a small project to start. It is a little harder than before, but Mark is ready. He opens his computer, reads the instructions carefully, and begins. At first, it is confusing. He makes a small mistake, but Anna is nearby. She says, "It is okay, Mark. Try again. You will learn. He tries again, and this time it works. He feels proud. It is a small victory, but important. Lunch comes, and he joins his colleagues. They laugh about a funny story from yesterday. Mark listens and smiles. He even tells a small story about his cat at home. Everyone laughs, and Mark feels more relaxed. The afternoon is busy. He works on his project, answers emails, and prepares a short report. He feels focused and more confident than Monday and Tuesday. The hours pass, and before he knows it, it is 5 o'clock. He packs his bag and goes home. Thursday, learning new things. Thursday morning is sunny. Mark walks to the office with a light bag. He feels ready for the day. The manager greets him and says, "Today, I will show you something new." Mark nods, curious and a little nervous. He learns a new computer system. It is difficult at first, but step by step he understands. He asks questions, and his colleagues answer patiently. Anna helps him again. She says, "Everyone starts like this. Don't worry. You will be good." The morning passes quickly. Mark feels proud that he learns new things. He writes notes in his notebook. He writes words he does not know and later looks at them again. It is a good way to remember. Lunch is quiet. He eats a sandwich and drinks water. He watches the people outside the window. Some run, some walk, some talk with friends. He smiles. Life outside is simple, but it is interesting. The afternoon is busy with small tasks. Mark sends emails, prepares a short document, and checks information. Sometimes it is slow. Sometimes it is confusing. But every time he finishes a task, he feels stronger. He learns that small steps make a big difference. At the end of the day, the manager says, "You are doing well, Mark. Keep it up." Mark nods and smiles. He leaves the office, feeling proud of his progress. Friday, the end of the first week. Friday morning feels different. Mark wakes up with a smile. It is the last day of his first week. He thinks about everything he learned. He thinks about the meetings, the tasks, the lunch breaks, and the small victories. He feels happy. At the office, everyone greets him. He sits at his desk and starts working. Today, he finishes the small project he started on Wednesday. He checks everything twice. Then he sends it to the manager. The manager looks at the work and nods. "Good job, Mark. Very good work." Mark feels proud. He smiles quietly and continues with small tasks for the rest of the morning. Lunch is a little celebration. His colleagues buy small pastries and coffee. They laugh, they talk, and Mark tells small stories about his week. He feels like he belongs. This is not just a new job. It is a new place where he feels welcome. The afternoon passes quickly. Mark organizes his desk, finishes emails, and helps a colleague with a small task. He feels confident. He realizes that the first week was hard, but also exciting. At 5 o'clock, the week ends. Mark packs his bag and leaves the office. The city is quiet. The sun is lower in the sky. He walks home slowly, thinking about the week. He smiles. He survived his first week. He learned many things. He met kind people. He knows that next week will be even better. Listening to a story like this helps you, my friends. You hear English words, simple sentences, and daily expressions. Step by step, your listening will improve. You learn words like morning, breakfast, office, meeting, project, lunch, and many more. You also learn the flow of natural English, how people speak in daily life, and how stories are told. Thank you for listening. Remember, my name is Oles, and this is the English Listening Podcast.